Now today I've got a double review for you. Well, not really a double review, part of a review and part of an update of an earlier review, because today I'm going to be talking about my Kindle Colorsoft, 1 month in. So I've been using this baby now for quite a while, so I feel I'm finally qualified to really speak about it, tell you my experience. And I'm also going to be reviewing a Welsh beer. The Welsh word for beer actually is Cwrw, and I'm going to be reviewing Evans. Evans is Cwrw. So that's Evans is beer, Cwrw of course being the Welsh name for beer. But I just want to remind you that my current book, A Dark History of Whiskey, which came out last month, it's out there, it's available in its handsome hardcover copy. It's a whiskey book like no other. I think I can say that without bragging too much. But A Dark History of Whiskey by Gary Dobbs, it's available anywhere books are sold. Get it direct from the publisher at Pen and Sword Books, get it from Amazon, get it from your local library, get it from your local bookshop. That's A Dark History of Whiskey by Gary Dobbs. But you have to forgive me the plug, of course, because this is my channel. I'm doing this review, so I deserve the plug. So another little plug, please click subscribe to like this channel, and even leave a comment down below if you want to talk about something. So before I get on to talking about my first month with my Kindle Colorsoft, let me cock open this beer, which is Evans's Cwrw, gluten-free classic amber ale, the beer of Wales, 4.2%. Now Cwrw, of course, as I said, is the Welsh word for beer, and the back of this bottle tells us that Cwrw, pronounced Cwrw, meaning beer in Welsh, is an international award-winning beer with a distinctive rich malt and delicate fruit flavour. It's no wonder Cwrw is such a firm favourite. As I say, it comes from the Evans brewery, and it's not to be confused with the Glamorgan brewery's Cwrw Goslas, which is absolutely a superb beer. But let's crack open this Evans Cwrw. We'll give it a pour, and then I'll talk a little bit about my Kindle, because as I said, I've had the Colorsoft for a month. I started out on my Kindle journey many years ago. My first Kindle was the Kindle keyboard. I don't know what generation that was, but it was quite a largish Kindle, not in terms of screen real estate. The screen was actually smaller than the current 7-inch you get now on the Colorsoft. But I think it was probably 6-inch screen, but it was a bigger device because the bottom of the device was taken up by a full-time QWERTY keyboard. I kept that for a great many years and really enjoyed it, and the only reason I upgraded to a later model Kindle was because the Kindle Paperwhite was launched. Kindle Paperwhite still remains, I think, my all-time favourite Kindle. I had 2 Kindle Paperwhites, and then I upgraded to a Kindle Oasis, which I also loved. But I never had the amount of love for the Kindle Oasis that other people seem to have. It was a great reader, don't get me wrong. It was a wonderful experience, and the physical page-turning buttons were brilliant, but I still anchored. I felt I had more of a connection with my Kindle Paperwhite. Well, anyway, the Oasis was finally put into retirement last once when I bought the new Kindle Colorsoft, which is the first colour Kindle on the market. I did an initial review and an unboxing when I first got this. I was so excited to get a colour Kindle, and that the fact that it was colour was the only thing that made me upgrade from my Oasis. Now, I held off buying the Kindle Colorsoft when it first came out, and thank God I did, because the Kindle Colorsoft was initially announced for 2025, but then Amazon suddenly surprised everyone but towards the beginning of October by saying it'll be out in a couple of weeks. But that initial Kindle, there were a lot of reports of a yellow banding across the bottom of the screen, which was causing problems, and Amazon recognised the problem and stopped shipping the Kindle for many weeks while they sorted out the issue. Thankfully I waited. I've only had mine a month, and the yellow banding is a thing of the past. So let's go back to the Cwrw Goslas. So it's got a nice classic rich treacly, darky treacly colour, which is something I remember from my days visiting pubs back when I was a youngster, and a very popular beer around this party. In fact, the first ever pint I ever drank was Welsh bitter, which I think, I'm not sure who made Welsh bitter. Maybe Brains, but I don't think I'm correct on that. I think it was a company that is now long gone. But anyway, my first ever bitter was Welsh bitter, and this, in terms of the dark colour, looks like a good traditional beer. It's got a very thin head on top of the beer. We take it to the nose. Now I'm more used to doing this with whiskies. Of course, whiskies are my main drink, but I sometimes do it with a beer. I probably drink no more than 10 to 15 pints of beer in a year, because beer is something I enjoy, but it tends to be few and far between, whereas I nightly have a dram of whiskey. Right, so but I do like a beer. It's a very rich, malty, beery aroma. That's the only way to describe it. It smells like a traditional beer. Perhaps some hops, some malt. Clean aroma. Just take it. You know, it's held up to the light. It's almost red. Well, it's a good thing. Now that's a traditional beer taste. It's fantastic. This is a real good beer. There's no frills here. There's none of this, you know, apricot or citrus. None of these flavours that modern craft beers try to push into their ales to give it a distinctiveness. This is good quality, thick, heavy mouthfeel. Proper Welsh, proper beer, in fact. So how am I getting on my Kindle Colorsoft? Well, about a month, I've read 4 novels. The first novel I read on this was Belinda Burr's new book, An Impossible Thing, which was a great book. I've read 2 Stephen King novellas on you from the Different Seasons collection. I read Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption, and Apt Pupil. There's 2 stories left in that collection I'm going to continue with in time, but I want a little break. So I went from Stephen King, from reading the 2 novellas in quick succession, and then I read, oh my gosh, I think it was something by J.P. Delaney. And I'm currently reading Ed McBain's Cop Hater, which was the first 87th Precinct novel. I've read this several times before. Now, what do I think of the Kindle Colorsoft? Well, firstly, I love seeing, I don't know how well the camera's picking up this, but there's 4 Ed McBain books there in my collection. And they are presented in full, lovely, vivid colour, which is wonderful. I do like seeing my covers in colour. I've read several graphic novels on here, although I never intended to use this device for graphic novels because I do think the screen is a little small. But I read Batman Year One on here, and I also read one of the Star Trek graphic novels from the 5th year collection. I'm just trying to get 5. There's a page, and as you can see, the colours really are good. I do like the colours on the Kindle Colorsoft. Now, some people say the colours are muted, which they are when you compare them to something like an LCD screen, but they really do reflect the type of colours we had in our comic books back in the day, and I really like it. I'm going to bring this closer to the colours that the Kindle does provide, the Colorsoft does provide for graphic novels. As I say, graphic novels to me are more of an afterthought. But what I really like is I find the screen way too small for reading graphic novels. If you double tap on the page, you get it frame by frame. And now that's a good way of reading it, and that's how I've enjoyed these books. There's also been an upgrade lately from Amazon to the Kindle Colorsoft. A software update which has given this new functionality where if you tap the side of the screen, yeah, there it is, you tap the screen and it turns the page. Here it's turning panel because I'm in panel view, but that's really good. You can also tap it anywhere on the device to do this. What would be really good if they could provide an update. I don't think this is possible because they're obviously using the hardware in the device to do this page turn. But if they could you tap this side and the page would turn back, that would be wonderful, wouldn't it? It'd stop the one thing that I do miss from my Kindle Oasis, and that is physical page turn buttons. Let's go back to the beer. That really is a fantastic real ale. It's a proper Welsh bitter. It's a proper bitter. It's a proper beer. So yeah, what are my thoughts on the Kindle Colorsoft after the month? Well, what I really do dig about it is it's the same size as the Kindle Paperwhite. In fact, it is basically a Kindle Paperwhite Signature Edition with the addition of colour. I really like the device after the first month, and I know I won't really be reading graphic novels on you because I just think the device is too small for graphic novels. If I haven't got a physical graphic novel, if I want to read the graphic novel digitally, I will use my Kindle Fire, my 10-inch. This to me is too small for that, but as a reading device, it is no surprise because it's Kindle, and Kindle has always excelled at giving people the pure reading experience. I do like this device. I also like that when I highlight something, because I often do that when I'm reading, I might find a particular phrase, a way of saying something, which I think that's really clever. I'd like to quote that one day, so I will highlight it by, touching it and highlighting the new line. But with this, the new Kindle Colorsoft, you can highlight in certain colours. You've got a selection of colours, so I'm just going to drag my finger across there to highlight that section there. And then it comes up, I press highlight, and I'm given options of what colour I want to highlight it in, such as blue, yellow, whatever, which is good because I can use, say, for argument's sake, yellow for inspirational quotes, blue for words, meanings I want to better understand so I can add them to my vocabulary. So I love the Kindle Colorsoft. I've got no complaints about it at all. In terms of battery, it's very good. It's probably not as good as the Kindle Paperwhite Signature Edition, which doesn't have the colour, because obviously the colour does drain some extra amount of battery life, so it's probably not as good as that. But it's certainly better than the battery life on my Kindle Oasis. It also supports wireless charging, which I think is something of a gimmick with a device like this, because with this device, you're only going to need to plug it into charges, say, once every 2 weeks if you're an heavy reader, and probably 3 to 4 weeks if you're a light reader. I am an heavy reader, and I've been popping it on to charge perhaps once a fortnight. When I go to work of a day, my job is a surveyor. I'm surveying different houses, and sometimes I've got an hour between appointments. So I'll park up somewhere in my truck and I'll read. So I use my Kindle a lot. I get up in the morning, I'm having a cup of coffee of a morning before the day starts. I usually sit at the table and do a chapter then, and I always read a chapter or two at the end of the day before I go to bed. So I'm really, really, really happy with my Kindle Colorsoft. Well, there's been a lot of backlash against Amazon regarding ebooks lately, because there was an option once where you could back up your ebooks that you bought from Amazon to your computer using a USB transfer. Amazon have stopped doing that, citing piracy, but you can still do that if you want to back up your books to your computer, your Amazon, your Kindle books. You can simply use the wonderful Cwrw software, and it's really easy to do. So that's not an issue for me. So that's a Kindle Colorsoft. I've got no complaints. I've had it a month now. I really haven't got any complaints. I thought I was going to miss the physical page turn buttons of the Oasis more than I have. As soon as I add my Colorsoft with its familiar, as I say, it's basically a Kindle Paperwhite Signature Edition with the addition of colour. So it had that familiar Paperwhite feel, which I really enjoy. This Evan Evans Cwrw is a decent beer. It's 4.2% alcohol by volume. Gluten-free classic amber ale. The beer of Wales is great. The only complaint I would have about this, or the only improvement I would make this, is not in the liquid itself, but it's in its aesthetics. I think I have a more of a Welsh image here in the, they've got rugged hills, which could be Wales, yes, but then it could be anywhere else too, to be honest. So I'd like to see it with a bit more of an iconic Welshy image. Maybe some old coal miner's wheel, you know, or maybe the dragon flag, whatever, just to make it look that much more Welsh. But it really is a fantastic beer in a light brown bottle. Available in most supermarkets. I think I had this from Tesco's, but I believe Morrison stocks it too. I'm just going to find out what information I can get on Evan Evans Brewery. So what I can discover here from a quick Google search is that Evan Evans Brewery is an award-winning brand with a rich heritage founded on 4 generations of brewing experience. Nestled below the Black Mountains in Llandilo, Wales, the brewery combines traditional methods with modern state-of-the-art technology to produce over 3 million pints of beer annually. The range includes traditional and modern craft ales, premium ales and Welsh cider, with a popular golden beer called Seascape, which I haven't tried. And according to this internet information here, Seascape is particularly enjoyable on sunny days. The Evan Evans Brewery Shop offers a wide selection of their products, including 500ml bottles of Seascape and other ales. So they're a pretty well-known, pretty successful brewery in terms of prestige image. Now I'm on the Evan Evans website here. It says proud to be Welsh. Cwrw, pronounced Cwrw, meaning beer, in Welsh is an international award winner. It has remained hugely popular because, please excuse our brag, it's a superb Moorish amber ale. In fact, one of the very best in Wales. I think I'd agree that it is a very, very good ale. It's towards the old style bitter beers. On the website here they also have some other models, the Seascape, which I've really got to check out now because this seems to be very high regarded. It tells us it's a brewery condition golden ale. It's 4.6%, so on the stronger side. We also have some information about the brewery. There's a chance to shop. And there's advertisement of the Cricketers Pub in Cardiff, in Leafy Pontcanna actually, where they serve really good meals along with traditional well-brewed bitters, beers, ales. So, as I say, it's top marks for my Kindle Paperwhite, and I'm going to give this Cwrw. I don't do these 10 out of 10 ratings or 1 out of 10 ratings or up to 100. I don't believe in all that. All I would say, this is a decent, a really good traditional style beer. For beer, read Cwrw, which is the Welsh for beer. Oh, bore da. So it's Cwrw, fantastic Welsh beer. The Kindle Colorsoft, which I think is well worth purchasing, especially for those who are big readers and want to see their book covers in colours. So cheers, I'm going to enjoy this Cwrw, and don't forget to click subscribe, like and leave a comment below. I'll see you soon. Cheers!